Greetings and welcome again to the Gaming Codex, the show where I try to explain to you all the various terms relating to video games and the video gaming industry. On today's edition we have the elusive and yet important demo. And what exactly is it? Well, the general definition would be a game demo is a freely distributed piece of an upcoming or recently released video game. Demos are typically released by the game's publisher to help consumers get a feel of the game before deciding whether to buy the full version. Video game demos were an important part of the evolution of this medium. Being able to show the user, the player, exactly what they were in for if they bought the game helped enormously in popularizing video games, especially in the early 90s when the shareware boom happened. That's when companies like id Software and Apogee Software developed video games and then offered a sizable chunk of them out for free as a shareware version with all the information needed to allow the player to order the rest of the game. These demos were distributed through the internet, the early internet, or through demo discs, and were the engine through which games like Doom, like Wolfenstein 3D, or even Duke Nukem were popularized in the first place. Without giving the player a taste of that greatness up front without pay, odds are these titles would not have been as popular as they were. Now, sure, shareware isn't what it used to be, and for a long time neither was the demo. There came a time when demo versions were no longer being distributed. Making a demo basically means you have to create another version of your game instead of spending time that you would actually use to work on the actual game. And of course there was the issue of some publishers and developers not wanting there to be a demo of the game, a free taste of what the final product would be, because they knew it was awful. Like, why telegraph to people that, hey, this is gonna suck, then you can just buy a review and make people think it's the best thing ever. That being about the time that piracy stepped in and sidestepped the entire discussion. What was the point of a demo now that everybody could just pirate the game and see if it worked or not, if it is good or not? Heck, they may not even buy it now if they're assholes. Some of them are. A lot of them are. But they probably wouldn't have bought the game in the first place because they're assholes. Yet in the past couple of years the demo has made a bit of a resurgence. Possibly because it's easier to create one with modern game making tools. Possibly because now Americans won't complain they have internet that's too crappy to download even a demo. Well, they still kinda do have crappy internet, but they can at least download a demo. And because some people actually make games that are so good that they believe just by letting the player see a bit of it, they're gonna sell a bundle. This also evolved a bit into the beta demo concept where you would be allowed to play a bit of a game, a multiplayer game for free before the launch. Now, what is the popular definition of a game demo? Well, that would be a free bit of the game. And yeah, that's it. That's basically it. It's a free bit of the game that you get to play. Sometimes you can play it to your heart's content, sometimes they are time limited. Other times they are constrained in some way. Some games even have specially created demos that acknowledge them as being demos, like Anachronox did and a bunch of other games did. And some of them can offer hours and hours and weeks and months of endless gaming potential, like the Space Empires 4 demo did for me. You can get a lot of things done with just 100 turns. Now, what is the marketing definition of a demo? Well, that would be the enemy of man. Or at least in terms of single player demos, those tend to be frowned upon by the majority of the big publishers because they tend to make really bad single player games. When it comes to multiplayer though, they're a bit more lenient because they basically just have to make a game with a bunch of guns, some maps that may or not be actually good, and a lot of stuff on the screen that keeps telling you you've unlocked stuff, and hey, you got a best-selling multiplayer game. But in terms of single player demos, they're not really all that popular, or at least again, they weren't for a lot of years. But during the past year or so, they've began to change. We've had the Doom demo, which just solidified that Doom was awesome. We had Mass Effect 3's demo, which, well, to be fair, I believe BioWare have their heads so far out their own behinds that they probably thought it was a good idea. And now we have the Prey demo, which was only released on consoles because of the Doom demo. For you see, demos also are feared by publishers because a demo needs to have kind of the same method of DRM that the full game will have, because making another DRM version just for the demo, that's a waste of money. But people can use the demo to crack the full game, and they don't like it when that happens. They also believe you are an absolute criminal and bundle their games with DRM in the first place because they do not trust you, and still haven't understood the concept that the assholes will always pirate a game and you're basically just hurting people that support you. It's like an abusive relationship. Well, a lot of the tech industry is like an abusive relationship, for example Windows. Yeah, you keep saying you're gonna switch to Linux if things don't change, but you'll always come back. You know you will. And thankfully demos have sort of made a comeback and are giving us the chance to see how a game works before buying it, if it's enjoyable, or at least if it blows up our PCs or not. Some demos, by the way, in the past have had the tendency to do that. So closes this chapter of the Gaming Codex. Come back next time when we will discuss something else. Maybe the subject of the Gaming Codex was supposed to be on today, but I forgot about it. We'll see. Goodbye.